Unravel the secrets of a small Louisian town as folks get tangled up in unholy business. Kat and Joelle weave a review of the mystical, fantastical, and downright musical South of Midnight. We lament the loss of Mythic Quest and play a podcast game of Two Lies and a Truth, video game style. All this right now on the GoGCast. Let's go.
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of this show. This is episode number 490. And wow, just saying that number spooks me. 10 episodes, ladies. 10 episodes till 500.
That is wild.
I feel that is 499 episodes too many.
Possibly. The haters gotta hate and tell us that it is. So maybe we should come up with something for episode 500. Let's pitch it out to those who are listening. Anybody got any ideas? I really enjoyed the episode last week with the topic being the one that came from Zangpao in the community. Yeah. So, look, throw us ideas. I love it.
Which he wanted to correct that it's a meme, by the way, that he found and shared in the Discord.
Still,
we answered.
But love the idea. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah,
kind of. It's a topic. We need topics. We do a podcast.
We've done this 490 times. We're running out of ideas. No, we're not. We're not really running out of ideas.
No, we're not.
We're going to be here until the end of time. Okay. Joelle's giving me the eyeballs. All right, let's get through some housekeeping. Let me introduce some friendly voices around this digital table who are talking to you and laughing at me. Catherine, how you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm excellent. Joelle, what's up?
Hey, do you know what age you stop getting gargantuan volcanic pimples on your face?
Never.
Do you know?
Your pores never go away.
God damn it.
Apparently, like, menopause can make it worse even, so I'm like, that's rude.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I have a second chin sprouting off the side of my current chin, and I'm pissed.
Have you tried any of those little, what are those patches?
The full disclosure, I've already had like 2 on it today.
Oh, it didn't work? Okay.
Well, it is working, but
yeah.
I think I know the reason. I don't really eat that much sugar, and I went to a cooking class, and they used way more sugar than I was used to, so my chin had something to say about that.
It revolted. It said no.
It said no.
Joelle, no. You might like how it tastes, but we say no.
We say no.
Yeah. No, it's possible. It could be stress. Because, hello.
Well,
look where we live right now.
It's probably a combination of everything. So, I'm glad.
Hopefully,
I'm glad
our
it's showing on my
podcast.
face.
I'm hoping this podcast can bring a little levity to everything. Let's actually do that housekeeping. If you enjoy this show, because why wouldn't you? The diatribe we had starting this show. You can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to get some GOG merch, you can do that by going to designbyhumans.com/shop/girlsongames. Or maybe you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee. You can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. All right, ladies. What have you been at this week? Catherine.
Oh, I've had I'm going to be honest, terrible week. Got pretty bad food poisoning, so spent all of Thursday kind of like on my ass. Got some lukewarm news at work. It wasn't the best week at work. Nothing to worry about, but it's just,
Gross, yeah.
It is what it is. The recession and everything. So it's just like, yeah.
Are we in a recession? Are they calling it? Is it official now?
I think we have to be on the other side for it to be like, yeah, that was a recession. But it's
we can't say no, we're in a recession. We got to look back at it and be like, yeah, that was definitely a recession.
This feels very 2008.
It doesn't ever feel like 2008.
Yeah, like
oh my god.
I know people here we're like, we're in a recession. Like, people are just saying we are. We're just like, we are.
And I mean, like, it's not like we don't know. Come on, millennials.
Yeah.
Like, every 5 years, a new problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, at this point, like,
this is fine.
I'm just
how
sitting,
life is.
Yeah,
we just
it
have
is.
a unprecedented financial crisis every 5 years. It's cool.
Listen,
Or a pandemic. Or terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
Or, oh my god, I said I was going to bring levity! Fail! Fired.
Great start.
Anyway.
Sorry, Kat.
Sorry, cat. Sorry, cat.
Listen, I still have a job.
Yay.
The game is not, my game is not canceled.
That's good.
Not that there was
good.
any chance, but it's just like, I think like by context, people are like, she works in games on a live game. Is it canceled? Is she No. Like, I think I'm the exception of like, cool. But yeah, so we said like, just like corporate bullshit as usual. Every time I have a meeting about Ubisoft, I'm like, I'm not going to be happy after this. That's been like the trend for the past year. And a lot of it is just like, that's the state of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And corporation thinking that like the activity levels from like the pandemic when people were not allowed to leave their home would stay forever. I'm like, it was clearly a bubble, my guy. Like, how are we not?
Yeah.
How did we not like right that ship as soon as like people were able to get outside and the vaccine was there? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, moving on.
That's a new problem.
So because and Thursday, of course, like I spent like, it was bad. I was sick. I had fever and everything. So the weekend was I laid pretty low. Just because I was very tired from not eating for like 24 hours. But there was a ray of sunshine in our household. And like, people that know my spouse will know exactly what that is. There was a delivery of a big box. And inside that box was the Elden Ring board game.
Oh. In a smaller box?
In a series of smaller boxes.
Multiple boxes.
She's a big one, lads.
Oh.
It's nested.
She has a rule book, a scenario book, several encounter books,
literature,
a lot of tiles, a lot of cards, a lot of little tokens, a lot of figurines.
Feels on brand.
My dopamine is spiking as you're talking.
So
I get to learn.
If you guys are like into guys, I say guys in general, non-gendered guys, audience, if you're familiar with games such as Gloomhaven, where you have a persistent campaign, you play through scenarios and you have a persistent campaign. It's basically an RPG. So it's basically like a lot of the content from the video game in the board game. And I haven't played, like we all know, I played like 2 hours of Elden Ring. Basically the tutorial. So when we first started playing this game, it was basically the tutorial again. I was like, I remember that. And then I went out, got my ass handed to me, and noped out. But Pascal told me like his best friend, if he hadn't like thrown out his back, would have on Friday upon leaving work would have gotten into his car and driven all the way here, and they would have spent the weekend playing Elden Ring. I'm like, wow, that didn't happen. So I was like, what am I gonna do? Leave the house and faint? No. So I sat down in front of him and I'm like, fucking teach me this game. So now that's what we're doing. And you have like, I don't know if I can go into the details of the mechanics without talking about it for 2 hours. But essentially you pick a character. That character has an archetype. I went with the prophet, so I'm the healer. So I can cast like a fire spell, make some damage, and I can heal people and stuff like that. He chose the samurai, which is essentially the dexterous DPS character, which is basically the rogue. And you have a deck that has your attacks, your types of attacks and defense. So every, like, when you have combat, you draw, like, I have 4 cards. I'm allowed to draw 4 cards out of that deck. So I have 4 things in my arsenal. And essentially every player turn is in 3s. You can do 3 things per turn. Play a card, move, draw more cards if you're out of cards. Stuff like that. You have scenarios where it's combat, you have an encounter, fight some mobs, fight a boss. Bosses can be really hard. We tried one, got our ass handed to us. You like, back to drawing board. You have exploration scenarios where you put little hex tiles as you move around. You just put a tile, then you build a map, and you explore, and you pick up materials to maybe buy stuff, craft stuff. Stuff can happen. You have quests to complete. And again, it works with 3 actions per turn, so you can like reveal a new tile, place it, and move on that tile as an action, and then pick up something as another action, stuff like that. So I am very much like dumbing it down, but if you've like I said, if you've played stuff like Gloomhaven, you just kind of like go through it. And at the end of each scenario, you get runes, RUNES. And you get to spend those runes on upgrades. And they're basically stackable. So you always have a pool. Like right now we have a pool of 25 runes. Something like that. If I've spent like on upgrades of like 5 runes, but then I'm like, yo, I want this bigger upgrade, I could undo some of my upgrades. Let's say we got 5 runes. The upgrade I want is 10. I could undo one of my previous upgrade to just release these and recoup that 5 runes, and then I have a pool of 10, and then let's say upgrade my shield instead.
Okay.
And that also means that if somebody was to come into our campaign, like let's say next weekend, the bestie Alex actually makes it down here. We could go through the tutorial with him, and then he could grab a character, see that we have 30, 40 runes, apply these upgrades, and start playing.
Oh, cool.
Which would be trial by fire for the man, but at the same time, he knows the game, and he's played a lot of these types of games. Frosthaven, Gloomhaven, or, we played the Mass Effect board game over a Chalet weekend, which is also this type of thing where you upgrade shit. I think he would kind of get into it. So,
Kat, you said it's persistent. So, like, you can play a scenario, you and Pascal, and run through that scenario, and then stop for a day or so, and then go back to it and play a new scenario. Like, you keep with those characters going, just if you like paused your game.
Exactly. So, like, let's say, like last night, we started, like, we went through the entire intro, and then blah, blah, and then at one point last night he looks at me, he's like, all right, we could do another exploration scenario, we could go do a boss fight, or we could go do a dungeon. And like an idiot, I went, let's do the dungeon, which is a series of 3 very hard combat. And we didn't have a lot of resources, and I didn't know my character all that well, and I'm the healer, and he's a fast guy that can
stabby.
We made it
slicey dicey.
Yeah, we made it to the last round of combat, which had the boss, and the boss fucking killed
wrecked you.
So we died.
Yeah.
And then this is a FromSoft game, right? What does it mean when you die? You just kind of like reset. So the game is like, you can retry the scenario, or you can you can change. So we were like, okay, we failed the dungeon. So I was like, we can try this again, or we could, hit our head against it. I'm like, it's not going to happen. We're like, I think we're too greedy going for the boss first. We're doing experience.
You're pulling a Cat where you walk into the DLC before you even finish the game, not realizing that you're way underpowered.
Just running on vibes.
Exactly.
Running on vibes.
And by mistake, because I was looking for side objectives. Sometimes I complete the story also because I was looking for side objectives.
You're like, oh, I'm done. Okay.
But yeah, so the game was like, so we just kind of like went to an exploration scenario to like kind of build up and get used to it and the mechanics. Because I think like once we have not just more upgrade, but just we have a better understanding of the game and how to strategize. So that from turn to turn we can kind of like survive better and know what to do and manage like our resources better. Like let's say I'm a caster, so I have a mana pool, and things like that. I think we'll try like a dungeon or a boss fight again, but it was rough. But at the same
Are you
time,
doing it as a duo, like your two characters together? Okay.
Yeah. It's a max 4-person board game. It's still a board game. It's
Yeah.
a complex board game with a lot of fucking moving pieces.
Okay.
And literal moving pieces. Like our dining room table is covered in minis, tokens, cards. There's boxes on the table, on the dining room table, on some of the chairs behind. There's just like there's shit everywhere.
Dimitri's not knocking stuff over.
Thank God that dude is 17 years old, because
He doesn't want to jump up there.
we would not be able to let all that shit out.
Yeah, you'd have to take a picture of it and put it away.
Yeah. Because like if he were like 5 years younger, half of that shit, like all the tokens, we would have to put away the tokens. Like
Yeah.
I think the cards and whatnot, maybe we could like put them in nice decks, but like all the tokens, they would have to be in bags. And even then he might take the bag and like fucking yeet it. But in his old age, no. He doesn't jump he doesn't jump on top of a surface unless he fucking has to.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
And if he jumps on the board game, it's because we're actively playing it, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm awake, and I am not the center of attention. What the fuck? That's not how it's been for the past 17 years. So usually one of us holds him like a baby while we play to avoid gremlin. But even then, he doesn't like pull shit around. He just walks all over it. And then
Yeah.
But no, he is way too old. That's also why, like, like the cat sitter when she visited, because we have a cat sitter for when we go to Mexico. She didn't point at my plants because like half my plants are actually toxic for cats. But
but he doesn't care. Dimitri doesn't care.
No, not every cat will be a plant chewer. And the ones that he tends to chew that are bad for him, I just put high enough. And and she's like, oh, he doesn't go up there. I'm like, ma'am, he's got too much arthritis, ma'am.
He's just a soil sitter.
Yeah.
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 Basically, but yeah, that's shout out to senior cats, because you still get the joy of having a cat, but no, much less goblin energy, much less shenanigans, more vet bills though. And the food is expensive, but like he needs stuff like he's on a what a bio something like those good bacterias. What are they called again?
Probiotics.
Yeah.
Probiotics?
He's on probiotics for his kidney health.
I mean, we should all be on probiotics of a certain sort.
That is such a grandpa.
It really is, though.
It's such a grandpa thing. But it works.
Yeah.
It works. We went to and he was like, hey, his kidneys are stable. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll keep giving him his grandpa pills. He also has anemia, so now he's like, oh, just give him beef. So now I have like, every week we have to eat beef so that I can portion little pieces of beef to give to the cat. It's the fucking stupidest shit.
That's how you have to plan your meals so that the cat gets beef. I love it.
It's that or he gets
I love it.
medication. And I was like, how does the price of meat look? I'm like, all right, this one we can actually...
We're eating meat today, Pascal.
I'm like, beef was off the menu for a long time because of price and like ethics and like the environment. We're like, all right, it's the most polluting meat. We should eat like less of it. And like within 2 weeks of like Pascal being like, we should definitely cut beef, like in terms of like it's bad. The vet was like, yeah, your cat's anemic. You should feed it beef.
It's like universe there.
And of course, he and I, all morals out the window. We were just
For the cat?
Yeah, for the cat.
For the cat? Who cares? Morals? Whatever.
We are at the beginning of hospice care. Like, we're not in end of life care at all. He has like good quality of life. But like at this point, like the man is the equivalent of a 90-year-old man.
Yeah.
If the vet is like, you have to give him like feed him high-end rotisserie chicken or he dies. I'm like, every day I'll be at Saint Sabaya, bro. Whatever, like chicken place, ordering chicken for my cat if it means that he'll be happy for another year.
Oh my God, what we'll do for our pets.
Exactly.
Joelle, what'd you do this week?
Man, I did a lot.
Yeah?
I was really
You're a busy lady?
I was a busy lady. I had the cooking class that I went to on Friday night with my friends, and it was more of like it was like you cook a Hello Fresh meal together. That's like kind of what it was. They didn't really teach us anything. I wouldn't think. But they were really nice. They had all the ingredients like pre-measured out, and they kind of, told you the recipe and what you were making along the way. And so that was nice. But we made stuffed chicken with green beans and then a tomato bacon compote to go on some bread, like a crostini. And so, stuffed chicken I've done. They even, like, cut the chicken. They, like, butterflied the chicken for us. So we didn't even have to do that.
Wow.
And I was like, well, all right. But I had never made, like, a tomato compote before. So that was the thing where we had to add, like, all this sugar to it. And that was really interesting. We added a half a cup of sugar, which was, like...
It's a lot.
Which was way too much sugar. We should have added like a tablespoon of sugar. It was way too sweet. But that was like the one thing that I thought was really interesting to cook was that compote. Because it's just not something I think about doing. So it was fun. That was a fun like night out. It was a fun thing to do. The place that we went to usually does like cooking classes or like cooking events for kids. Mm-hmm. And so before us, there was a birthday, I think for like a middle schooler, and they had a Harry Potter themed birthday. And it was really cute because when we walked in, they still had like their Harry Potter stuff up, and they were all dressed up in their Harry Potter outfits, and it was so cute. And I was like, oh, it was a good thing. It was a fun thing to do. We tried it. Then so we just hung out Friday night. On Saturday, there was a pickleball event that was put on by my gym. And so they had like snacks, and it was an hour and a half of pickleball. And then you were entered to win like a really fancy pants pickleball paddle. So that was fun to go to, just to play with other people and to kind of meet some more folks playing pickleball. Had a good time doing that. And then on Sunday, I did something that it meets one of the goals that I have for this year. Mm-hmm. And I went to a fly fishing casting class on Sunday morning. So
cool.
I wanted to try fly fishing.
Yes, so that was super fun. This place, Orvis, I think it's like a national or global.
It's global. Yeah,
global.
There was an Orvis store. There was one in Montreal. I remember it, and Dad always wanted to go visit. Yeah, it was a big thing is the Orvis fly fishing gear.
Yeah, so there's one that I know of, which is in St. Louis Park, pretty close to where I live currently, and they have free, like, intro to fly fishing classes. They're all free. Mm-hmm. And so the 101 was just, like, basic casting, basic knot tying, and basic flies. And so we were there. The class, I think, had about 10 of us. And we all went out to the parking lot, and we just practiced casting with, like, cardboard fish in the parking lot. And that was really fun. It was a little windy, which was probably a good thing because then we could see how the line fared in the wind. And it was really fun. It's really different than any type of fishing I've ever done, so I'm excited to continue to try it out. And looking forward to it. Their 201 class is where you actually get to, like, cast in the water and they're going to show you how to tie on the fly and like throw it in the water and get a feel for that kind of actual like fishing. So that'll be really fun. And I can't believe it was a really good class. The instructors were really knowledgeable. They were really nice. Had a really good time. And yeah, just really pumped and looking forward to like doing this more. So, and that was enough.
That was a full weekend.
Yeah, I did play pickleball Sunday night too. And then went to a yoga class after pickleball. So I played pickleball, and then they have what's called a surrender yin class at the gym. And you basically, it is the most relaxed yoga class I've ever been to. They give you pillows and blankets. And
that sounds like my kind of yoga class.
It's an hour and 15 minutes, and like you kind of start off the first like 6 or 7 minutes just laying there, and people totally fall asleep and they snore. It's so funny. 'Cause the room's like dark
So
and
did
it's
you just
calm.
pay to have a
and-
nap? You paid for
Yeah, I
nap time?
Yeah,
Is that
paid
what-
for nap time. Yep. And then the movements are really, really slow, but you hold the stretches for we'd have to have held them for 2 to 3 minutes. So like you are like stretching, and they want you to push through. Like you'll stretch, and then your muscles will release, and then you kind of feel uncomfortable. And there's that tension, and you want to be like, okay, I'm done stretching. They want you to not break the stretch. They want you to like keep stretching and to lean into the discomfort and to embrace it and to dig deep. And it's like semi-therapy as you're going through this yoga class. It's really nice. It's a really nice way to like end the weekend. And I felt really good after because... Well, I semi-cheated. I did the moves until I couldn't do them anymore, and then I laid back down.
And you went to sleep.
So, yeah, then I took a micro nap.
Nice.
So that was my weekend was pretty busy, but full of really, really fun stuff.
You guys had a way more exciting weekend than I did. Mike and I had all intentions of going to see the Minecraft movie on Saturday night, but then Mike was feeling not great after work, so we decided to stay in. Kind of happy we didn't. We waited until the chaos went down. Have you heard about what the kids are doing? And I say the kids. I mean the kids. What they're doing in the theaters when the zombie chicken jockey comes on screen.
I heard that some people have live chickens.
Yeah, live chickens throwing popcorn, going crazy. I think Jack Black exclaims "jockey chicken" because like that's a thing in Minecraft. It's a small zombie sitting on a chicken. Sometimes spawns. They move really wicked fast and they're annoying. But yeah, people are going buck wild about it. Like my buddy was telling me about it, and then I went on and watched Phil DeFranco today, and he had a whole story about it. And now they have to put like a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie and tell people to like simmer down because people are leaving the theaters in a friggin' state.
Oh wow, that's rude.
It is rude. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm waiting to see that a little bit later. Then when that dies down. Not that we would have been with kids because we wanted to go to VIP. Mm-hmm. So we would have been with adults. Yeah. I wanted to go get drunk and watch a Minecraft movie.
I heard it did really well.
Yeah, it did great. Yeah.
Really well.
It topped off another big movie that's out right now. I'm trying to remember what it is. I'm so out of the loop when it comes to movies. Out of the loop.
Yeah.
We had some other sad news earlier in the week. Did you guys hear about Mythic Quest getting canceled?
Yeah.
Yeah. After 4 seasons, Apple canceled it.
It was such a good season.
I know.
Season was so good.
I'm not done completely the episodes either. So I'm like, there's not going to be a conclusion now.
No.
They're actually making an episode to conclude it.
Conclude? Okay, thank
good.
God.
Okay, good.
Because I'm watching the 4th season right now, and apparently it ends on a cliffhanger. But
it does.
But I think they're just gonna. I think there were news. I saw that they were gonna do a wrap up episode, basically.
Okay, good.
Okay.
God, can't leave us hanging.
I know, it's so sad.
I'm gonna be honest. Like when I watched the 3rd season, I was like, "Oh, this is rough." But the 4th season, I was like, "All right, like this is kind of like it's unhinged." but in a good way. Like, I guess they ran out of stories about the video game studio, like whatever. And now it's just a bunch of characters doing wacky shit. Like, any kind of like sitcom, right? At one point you lose the premise and you just start writing about the characters and it gets wacky. That's where they were going with. I'm like, but you know what? If they do some really dumb, wacky shit, I'm kind of in for it. Maybe they'll help me reconcile the way I feel about Ian.
He's so whack though. Like he's
great.
so good at playing that character. Like
I need the situations to be wacky because that character just in a video game studio is just real life.
Oh god. Oh my god. Sometimes I watch that cat and then I'm like, is this what Cat deals with at work?
Like, just go like,
I'm like, oh no.
If you go read about Serge Hascoët from Ubisoft, the guy that's like going to trial in France, if you read about the shit he did and then you look at Ian Grimm, you're like, oh god, that is barely a parody.
Ian Grimm is such a rock star name too.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Like,
is, yeah.
my god, they couldn't have come up with a better, like
it's not even
extravagant
Ian, it's
name.
Ian.
It's Ian.
Ian.
Yeah.
I.
But even then, his name is Ian. He makes people say it differently.
Say Ian. Yeah,
Yes,
he makes
say
you say
Ian.
Ian.
And I
Yes,
was just
right.
like, oh no.
But I mean, that was the point, right? That's what they were trying to do. Yeah.
But like, there's an episode, I think in the third season, when the creative director realized he's the only one over 40 and he's being discriminated against.
Yes.
And he goes on the thing and he wants to sue the place. So he sues.
Yes.
And he's just like, and you can tell that he hates his job and he hates the game and he hates that place. He is soured by working there and in the industry. He probably started as loving the place and having a lot of passion, and now he's just like constantly like the bitch, and he's just like, like, nobody hates this place like I do, and he's, and I was just like, I just turned to Pascal and I was like, that is the most video game industry story to ever video game industry in mass media. I was like, I've had I could walk into work and point at 10 of that guy on any floor.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm just like, oh. And all the jokes about like, oh, we don't care about the dev testers. Like, no, they really don't. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't want to trauma jump. But it's just like, all that to say that the fourth season is getting really out of pocket and just kind of like actually disconnected a lot to premise. We just watched a murder mystery episode.
Oh,
and
that murder mystery episode was fun though.
It was so fun.
So good.
It was really
so
good.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the characters of Rachel and Dana so much.
Yes, they're so cute.
I love them to death.
So fun.
And Ashley Birch is such a joy. I've heard her so much in cartoons and in video games. It's great to see her like on screen, and her, and I forget the name of the actress that plays Dana, but like there's honestly the reason I keep watching Mythic Quest. Just the fact that it's like so unhinged. I'm like, I think I can live with this show now. And then they're like, hey, let's cancel it. I was like, all right. I guess
we can't have
why we
nice.
can't have nice things.
Yeah, can't have nice
But
things.
I felt they were starting to run out of steam. So I think
I get
Yeah.
that. They were running out of ideas, which, not everything has to be lasting forever, right? Things can come to an end.
Yeah.
I think they could have maybe made one last season.
Yeah, or something just to wrap it all up, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just one episode. That's too bad. I did watch the first episode of season 2 of Last of Us.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
So
I watched it
season
last
2 is
night.
the second game, right?
Yes.
So my understanding is season 2 and season 3 are the second game, and I've watched the episode last night, and damn, it's going to be interesting. Joelle, did you play Last of Us Part 2?
I watched it, so I know.
You know?
I've watched it
You
a few
know.
times, yeah, so I know. I do.
You know.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Love to talk thoughts once you've seen an episode, because Abby's in it now.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yep.
I just didn't get I was in yoga micro-napping. So
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to
I
watch
get it.
So.
I get it. All right. Fantasy Critic, real quick, because not a ton of change in the podcast league. One game came out last week, South of Midnight. Critic is 78, points of 8. It was on Cat's roster. There were no bids and no drops. The ranking remains Leah, Cat, Joelle. In the Community League, 2 games. Blueprints, Critic 90, points 20. That's Margot's.
Wow.
And, of course, South of Midnight. I know, that's crazy.
That's a great score.
Yeah.
Critic 78 points 8 for Ross. On the bids front, the 100-line Last Defense Academy was won by Pat with a bid of $9. Monster Train 2 was won by Jessica Starr with a bid of $12. Fred tried to buy it for $5 but didn't succeed. Publisher was outbid. Deep Rock Galactic: Survivor was won by Jessica as well for a bid of $13. And Alban's bid of $7 didn't succeed. He was outbid. Resident Evil 9 Unannounced was won by Jessica with a bid of $6 as a counter pick.
Ooh.
Deliver at All Costs was picked up by Jessica with a bid of Oh no. Just tried to buy it for $13, but did not succeed. She has no roster spots available. That means she has a full kit of games,
Greedy.
and I've got she went on a spending binge.
She did.
Wow, she thought she would get probably outbid on some shit. And she was like,
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah. Now, Jess, you got everything. Drops none. When it comes to ranking, right now in first is Margot, then Pat, then Stainsby Kingsby, then Alban, Ross, Kat, Fred, me, NJK, Darth Stridius, Kyle, Jessica, Simon, Phoenix, Joelle. Yeah, Joelle still running with no games released. The hell.
I'm not. Again, I'm. Well, I was. In the beginning of the year, 4 months ago, past me was really confident in the Nintendo lineup.
Dude, you and I have nothing.
No, I don't know.
We've got nothing. We've got a ton of games to fill in. I mean, it looks good for the tail end of the year.
Oh yeah, no,
There's stuff that drops.
I need to pick up some games. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Heaven, please,
June
please,
is just around the corner. Let's just
please,
say that.
God, let GTA
really is.
6 come out.
It really is just around the corner. I can't get over how quickly it's going to be here.
It's going to come out real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys want to do Game On and then what everyone's playing? Because I think what everyone's playing is going to be topic of the show because you're both playing South of Midnight.
Yes.
So do you want to do a game first?
Yes.
Okay, this is a video game podcast, so let's play a podcast game about video games. Yay. 2 Truths and a Lie, video game edition, backed by popular demand. I mean, it's the easiest game that I can make in a hot minute.
That's what we're all about.
Exactly. Okay, so I've got 4 rounds. There are 3 game titles, all based on a theme. You got to pick which one's the real one. The other ones are fake. Let's see if you can figure it out. Okay, the theme is spring. Because I'm really hoping it's actually here now because we've had such shit weather. I really hope it's spring. The game names are Lily's Well, Petal Bound, and The Thawing.
The Thawing?
The Thawing.
I can't imagine the thawing is real. The thawing?
I feel like Lily's Well, I've heard, is a real game. It feels so real to me. What's the second one? Petal
Bound.
Bound.
The thawing? I'm going to say the thawing because I don't like it.
I'm gonna say
So you're saying that's the real game because you don't like it?
No, I thought we were saying which one's the lie.
No. One's real. 2 are a lie.
Oh, sorry. What's the
2
real game?
Oh, sorry. It's 2 lies and a truth. What did I say? 2 truths and a lie.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh,
No, it's 2 lies and a truth.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Lily's Well is the real game.
Yes, I agree.
You got it.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm just rewriting my thing. January 3rd, 2022 on Steam. Lily's Well.
The thawing.
Come on. Can't you see that? We have fucking Death Stranding. Like, it's not that far-fetched.
I mean,
That only sounds real because we've been saying it for freaking 10 years now. Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Stranding. What the hell is that?
It's a Kojima game.
with the shovelware on Steam, I was like, if we were looking for like the one game that's fake, I was like, with the shovelware on Steam, the thawing was not that far off in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's where I was like, the thawing? Okay.
Okay. Next one's about sushi.
Oh.
Sashimi Showdown,
Now I'm hungry.
Sushi Game, and Chopstick Champions. What's the real game?
I think Sushi Game is a real game.
What's the first
I'm going
one?
to say
Sashimi Showdown.
I'm gonna say the real game is Sushi Game.
I'm going to say Chopsticks Champion.
Joelle is right. Android game. Last updated on July 8th of 2024. So if you want to go
Hell
play
yeah.
it.
Sushi Game.
Yeah, I couldn't get the release day. Okay. The next one is about guitars.
Guitars.
Insert bring like sound effect. Simon can do something fancy there, I'm sure. Okay. The game names are Echo Rift, Battle of the Bands, Solo Inferno, or Frets on Fire.
I wish Frets on Fire was a real game.
Oh, wow. These are good.
I think Solo Inferno is a real game.
I agree.
Frets on Fire came out on August 3rd,
Shut
2006 for PC, Mac, and Linux.
That's an amazing title. That's an amazing
Oh,
title.
my God.
Frets on Fire. I was really going to throw in another one that had frets in it too, and I was like, no.
That's a great title.
It's a great
Frets
one.
on Fire. Ow.
Okay. Round 4. Hot Rods.
Like the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Vroom vroom.
The titles are Hot Rod Havoc, Hot Rod, and Rust and Rage.
Just Hot Rod? That's rude.
That's like Sushi Game.
Sushi Game. Hot Rod. Guess the game, fools.
Hot Rod Havoc is the real game.
Joelle?
Sorry, can you say the...
Hot Rod Havoc, Hot Rod, and Rust and Rage.
Sorry, there is nothing.
What was that?
I don't know. Okay, so I unplugged my Alexa because now I got paranoid, and then so that shouldn't happen anymore. But then my Siri is like turning on, and I have him set to a South African man because I find it lovely. So that was my Siram going off. So sorry. I'm gonna say the first one.
Hot Rod Havoc. You both had Hot Rod Havoc, right?
No, okay, then never mind. I want to say the last one.
Rust and Rage.
Yeah, Rust.
Yeah,
and
you're
Rage.
both wrong. Hot Rod came out in December 1988. Arcade, Atari ST, Commodore 64, Amiga, ZX Spectrum, and Amstrad CPC.
Oh, man, the arcade nerds were yelling.
Hot Rod.
All right, last one. This one's all based on villains.
Ooh.
The names are Tyranny, The Bad Side, and Throne of Thorns. What's the game?
Throne of Thorns.
The Bad Side, Throne of Thorns. The first one was
Tyranny.
Oh, the first one's that's a good title.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tyranny.
It's Tyranny. November
Yeah.
10th, 2016.
Nice.
Linux, Mac, and PC.
Nice job, Kat.
And that's the end of the game of 2 Lies and 1 Truth. Really? They're truth. ChatGPT, both of them. Yay!
Yay! Hot Rod.
Hot
Play
Rod. It's a
Hot
real
Rod.
game. All right, let's take a wee break and then get back into what everybody's playing, which is topic of the week, because the ladies are playing South of Midnight. And we're back. Topic of the week / what everybody's playing. I mean, I'm just playing 2 Point Museum, so we're just going to move on from that. But the ladies are actually playing South of Midnight, and I'm very curious to hear what they have to say. Ladies, who wants to start?
I am gonna say I have a side that maybe some people don't know, but I'm a nosy motherfucker.
Oh.
And I love small town drama. That kind of shit, like she said, he said, my cousin told me, and they and South of Midnight is basically the intrigues of a small community in the deep south of the US. Like, when the game starts, there's a trigger warning because, yes, it does deal with heavy stuff. But it's just like,
Yeah, it does.
she did what to her dad because he was doing what? So I am enjoying this thoroughly because there's a layer of magic. So all based in the, what is it called? South Gothic South folklore. There's a name for it. So there's that layer of magic that you saw in the trailer and in the gameplay trailer, but like the actual story of Hazel going through the town and helping the town folk is just like small town USA at its core. And there's skeletons in the closet that are So the nosy side of me is deeply enjoying this game. Deeply. It's a great mix of fantastical and like small town drama and trauma. Like let's be honest. And the world building.
Oh,
it is. It's a fictionalized place, called Prosecco in Louisiana. But if you've been to like Louisiana and Alabama and places like that, it's just like it just looks real. And you know, there's stuff like early in the game, you go through town and she's just like, oh no, the hurricane like eviscerated. They had like a park with just giant statues of like farmer characters. Very a la Fallout Boy. A la, you know, like stuff you'd see on the ground broken in Fallout. Like they had like that small town just had like a bunch of giant statues.
Like Fallout the game, not Fallout Boy the band, right?
Exactly. Like, sorry,
Yeah, okay.
Fallout the game. You know how sometimes you would see like a life-size, like a giant, oversized, like the Fallout Boy sometimes, like as a character, like
Oh, Pit Boy.
yeah, the Pip Boy. Yes, that's
Yeah.
his name. Or like as you go through, because Fallout is based in America, right? And you have like these in places like America. You show up, and at one point there's just a bunch of big dinosaur statues, just so you could stop on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. You know, they had that. For example, they had that in the town. There's a pig farm that does a bit of insurance fraud, mild insurance fraud.
Yeah.
You know, the preacher is named Jolene, and she
Amazing.
looks like Dolly Parton.
Amazing.
That has to be on purpose.
The hair,
Oh, yeah.
the hat,
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
the
That has to be on purpose. Jolene.
oh yeah,
Jolene.
yeah, and she's a preacher now, but she started as a country singer, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh.
I can't wait to play this game.
So yeah, they nailed the world building. Like, forget the art style and like the stop motion animation. It just feels like no matter what they did, it feels small town USA deep south. And like Leah, you yourself, you studied in Georgia, so I think
Savannah, yeah.
you would launch this game and you'd be like, oh yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Even the environmental sounds, because I've been to Louisiana twice, and so I'm not an expert, but I have been down there, and I feel like the environmental sounds they just totally nailed too. Like they just didn't copy and paste, you know, birds from anywhere. Like the frogs, the fauna, the flora. The way that the trees, like everything is true to that climate. And then also there's so much culture when you're in these small towns, especially at the beginning of the game. There's so many Easter eggs in these little towns. Their attention to detail in the architecture of the housing, like the sconces in the housing, the wallpaper, the decor, the chairs, like it is so on point that if you went down there, I think you would be like, I know what this is because I played this game. And so like I was truly like the amount of research and expertise that went into this game, especially in the dialogue, what they said, how they said it, what they referenced. Everything was phenomenal. It's so much fun. And the game, I think, like Kat, and when we were talking about it, when you wrote it for the topic of the week, talked about it's like playing a musical.
Yes.
And like it is like it's so fun. It's so good because it deals with very heavy subjects, like very heavy. And like I could see there's a lot of trigger warnings in this game. It deals with substance abuse. It deals with family abuse, childhood trauma, very, very heavy on the childhood trauma, poverty, kind of like a dichotomy of socialism with wealthy versus poor. And the music really helps to kind of not punch those emotions without making you like super depressed. If that makes any sense. Like it really helps you want to continue the story because the music is so on point of what's happening and is another layer in the narrative. And the music is phenomenal. Like it has to be nominated for awards. It's so good.
Fully voiced.
Yes, it's fully voiced.
Like at one point I was chasing a giant alligator two-toed Tom. And I had there was this bayou country sultry man singing about two-toed Tom with
two-toed Tom.
A choir, a small choir, church choir of children helping him for the verses and the choruses. Wow. And it's just like, as you start, basically the way it works is that the music starts and it sings, and then if you stay in an area, it's just going to loop the background music, and then when you get to another area of the story or in the next part of your traversal or beyond the next save point, it starts the next verse of the song.
Oh
yeah, so the song progresses as you progress through that part of the story.
It's amazing. For those of them that would be extremely distracting or anxiety inducing, there is a setting in the menu, in the menus, to be hey, just give me the background music with no audio. With no lyrics.
Singing?
Yeah, just the music. If it's not if it doesn't create a barrier for you, if it's not an accessibility issue, I say do it. This game kind of loosely reminds me of Bastion. I don't know if people remember Bastion, the first song, the first game by Supergiant.
Supergiant.
Mm-hmm. And you had this narrator, you had this soundtrack that's very much in the same type of country, a bit Western movie.
Bluesy. It's bluesy.
Yeah, very bluesy. And then you have this narrator just talking the whole time, and he has a southern accent. Think that, except sung by amazing artists, and depending the vibe they're going for, right now, I'm in an area from the rich folk. I'm in a rich area, a summer home and a nice estate, and you're you look around and you're wow, these people own people. Let's be honest. But they're very rich, and the soundtrack changed, and it felt definitely more bluegrass. And then the voice became feminine and a bit more elevated. And I know I haven't progressed. I'm on chapter 6, I think. I know later on you have full on you could be in church with a full procession and a lady belting out notes, and I'm just I can't wait. I can't wait. Honestly, amazing.
What's the premise?
So yeah, sorry, we didn't talk about the
went down a love fest about the art and the aesthetic and the music.
10 out of 10.
Yes,
the
10 out of 10.
premise is Hazel and her mom live in a mobile home, and they're getting set up for. There's a hurricane rolling through town, so they're getting set up to go to the shelter and hunker down. Hazel and her mom have a bit of a tizzy. Her mom's go check on your neighbors. She does that while she's out double checking the neighbors so that they can all be on their way to the shelter. Her house with her mom is swept by the river.
Oh, shoot.
And it's that moment, Hazel is actually used to do red track in high school, so that explained why she's fucking athletic. Like, it's not just like, this is a video game, this is why this person runs and jumps.
How old is Hazel?
Oh.
Teenager, like I'd say high school.
Late late teens, yeah.
Graduated high school, probably an age where someone would go to college. Doesn't seem
18,
like,
19, 20 kind of deal.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem that they're well enough for her to go to college, so she's working part-time. And as she follows the house, she starts to see the strands in the air, which is like literally strands, like threads. And that's when she realizes, the game tells us she's a weaver. And weaver in that South Gothic folklore is basically people that can see the tapestry of the universe. And when there's a lot of trauma, there's going to be knots. And weavers can unknot that and heal. So she runs. She can't find the house. She goes to her grandma for the night, her estranged grandma. At her grandma's house, she finds the tools to start weaving. And then she starts to see echoes of the past. And through the echoes of the past, you pick up more tools. And also, it's a bit like a tutorial. You'll unlock powers as you go through. Unlock stuff like there's a push, there's a pull, there's a double jump, there's a bit of a glide. There's you can create objects out of thin air to help you reach areas, like that. And all of these powers can also be used in combat.
Is estranged grandma also a weaver? Is that why she has the tools?
TBD.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of the little secrets you have to look into.
Okay.
You gotta play the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know if they were estranged because like maybe the mom didn't agree with the concept and one took her away or whatever, and then
no. The grandma didn't like the mom, and the grandma's on the dad's side, and the dad died.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game is kind of unraveling, like not only the socioeconomics of like the southern politics and economy, but also family dynamics, like within a blended household of a white matriarch and her son married a woman of color, and they had a kid, and then how that all kind of unfolds, and her peeling the layers of the onion of her past and of her dad's story and then of her grandma's story, and starting to understand some of the decisions that they've made throughout their lifetime as her magic weaving is unveiling this as she goes. So it's a really very rich, dense, like I said, it really tackles some of these issues like dead on. Like they don't really mince stuff. Like I'm watching some of these scenes and I was like, they're like going for it. So they're not going to shy away from these really hard topics, and there's some pretty graphic scenes like around abuse. So, there is a content warning at the beginning of the game, and that's there for a reason. Yeah. And so I could definitely see some people just wanting to let you know ahead of time. But they're gonna go for it. And I think the art style really helps them to carry that through. Like it's not, with the clay and stop motion, I think that kind of helps soften the message just a little bit, but it's very in your face with it, and it's really, really well done. And like it kind of took me. It's 14 chapters in total. I think completionists say it takes around them 20 hours to finish. They say if you just kind of run the game straight through, it's between 10 and 12 hours. And I would say that it took me about the first 3 chapters to really get its. For me to really get rolling on the story. And now, like, I am on almost finished with chapter 9, and I'm going to stay up tonight. I'm going to finish it because I have to know what happens. Like, I'm fully invested. It's so good. So for me, it was a little bit of a slow start. But now I'm like, I'm in it to see it through. I'm so excited.
I would say the first 2 chapters are easily like tutorial worthy. Basically, I think like if we look at the game and look at its flaws, unfortunately the flaws are like gameplay and mechanics.
Yes.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it even in the beginning. I was talking about playing and how I don't have the mental capacity to deal with like Assassin's Creed right now just because work is insane. So I'm like, that's why I'm going to 2 Point Museum. It's like it's methodical. I know what to do. I understand it. I don't have to. It isn't distracting. And you were like, this game is on rails. You can just play it through. And I was like, okay, I just want to push myself down a movie. That's fine.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
it's just the like the combat and the traversals are. I mean, they're not Spider-Man level, but they're not wonky by any means. They're just extremely simple. And I would say underutilized to the point where it gets really repetitive.
Yeah.
Your drive to move forward in this game is not gameplay. Because if it was just gameplay, I'd be like, this is boring. It's really to follow the story.
Okay.
And of course, for context, this is a game that takes about 10 to 15 hours to complete.
Yeah.
The full price is $40.
Yeah.
It's basically like what we call like it's not it's indie-ish.
Well, it's compulsion, right? They were. I would say they kind of were indie back when they were doing.
We Happy Few.
No, before We Happy You, Contrast was they were indie. Then I felt like We Happy Few was kind of floating in that line, and then didn't they get picked up?
They're an Xbox
by Xbox?
Xbox, yeah.
But you can totally see the progression in that studio from Contrast to now, which is kind of wild. And it always feels like they really have these, like, very much, it's about the world building.
Yes.
It's the atmosphere. It's the story they're telling. Like, I didn't play We Happy Few, but I did play Contrast. And it was very much about the story and the vibe and the mechanics coming out of, like, the space that you were in the sense that they played with light and shadow, right? So,
no, it's... Yeah, this game, like, there's a few extra boss battles. Like, one of the boss battles, they're like, hey, you can do this to avoid the attacks. I couldn't avoid the attacks for some reason. I couldn't get the timing down. I don't know if it's
the timing is a little goofy because the timing. So it's a little bit like maybe a From game because the timing of the attacks aren't always the same.
Okay.
And so like the timing in some of the bosses, like there'll be like a 1 second, and then the next attack is like a 1.5, and then the next attack is like a 2 second, and so you have to kind of note the pattern because the pattern is different with each attack in a set of 3 attacks. Aww. So that did make it a little tricky because I kind of started to count because I would get my timing would be off and I'm like, oh, they're doing it like on a half beat or they're not doing it in the same way. So that I found kind of interesting. But I think I haven't finished the game, but I feel like if Compulsion Games, if they build upon this, they have something really, really cool, like in the making. If they're able to build upon the mechanics of traversing and their fighting mechanics, because there's some cool things happening, and there's some really fun, dynamic combat moves. But then once you get that, then that's all you have left to play with, and you don't have much more after that. So and there is a progression, and you can buy upgrades, and there's a skill tree that you can unlock as you go. So I think if this is their first type of shot at it, it's not bad. I want another game. I want North of Noon. Like, when is that coming out? I'm so excited.
Do you agree with the, like, because we were talking about it in the Fantasy Critic, that kind of had a roundup of 78. I'm seeing it float around that 80 mark. Do you think it's there?
Yeah, I think it would have if the gameplay mechanics would have been more solid. They would have like had a solid 90 on their hands.
Yeah.
Because just everything else has a lot of love and care. I think gameplay wise, it's not there.
Okay,
it's not bad. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
77. Like it's like they've got the skeleton.
Yeah, it's not. Oh yeah, it's really in terms of like just gameplay mechanics. They're not terrible. It's just they're not like exceptional, or they don't feel buttery smooth, or they don't feel special.
Yeah. You've played this game before, right? Yeah.
If you just look at the gameplay mechanics, if you look at everything else, I can guarantee you have not played this game before. because
No.
this is a very underutilized and underrepresented genre and folklore and type of people in mainstream video games. Like how many games we have about the Deep South and its rich history.
Very few.
And
Well, because it's it can come off as it hits you in the face with some dark stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
makes
that's
people
why.
uncomfortable.
That's it,
That's
right?
why.
And it's called
That's
Southern
why.
Gothic for a
Yeah.
reason, because you go
Yeah.
into the, almost in the horror and into the
Yeah.
grotesque pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like this game, they were like when they looked into this and they saw like what it meant.
Yeah.
Like you have
Yeah.
they have a character. Like Two-Toe Tom is an existing character in the folklore. They adapted it for
Yeah.
the game. There's another character called Hugging Molly, who's in a specific area of, I think, Alabama. Basically, she takes children that are left alone or that are not taken care of. And it's basically a story to tell your children so they don't wander off at night. Basically, to keep cared inside, because like you don't take good care of your children. And the way they spun it in this game is because Hazel Mom is a social worker. They're like, oh, this Hugging Molly have a vendetta against this social worker who saves children. And I'm just like, oh, we're going to go down this rabbit hole? We are literally going... It's not just childhood trauma. Like, we're getting CPS
Yes.
involved.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So you need, like, a studio, like, kudos to Commercial Game to just look... Like, they open the box, and a lot of people just open this box and just close it because they're like, this is too heavy. And they went, fuck yeah. And they built something that is very unique. Kudos to that. Honestly, like...
Are there jump scares?
No.
I haven't run into any.
You wouldn't call this a horror game.
No.
No.
It's a psychological...
Thriller.
Thriller.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
with very fantastical.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantasy. Yeah.
Because of the fantasy, I think it makes it easier to swallow, but it's still modern day. Like, this is a story about people that are, like, alive. And I think a lot of people that come from that area would look at these characters or these stories. They're like, oh, yeah, I can name 2 people that have similar stories or that grew up in this similar... Like, for them, it might be, like, a bit like how I have issues with Ian Grimm in Mythic Quest. Some people might look at this game and be like, I don't need to relive my own trauma.
Yeah.
But there it is. I think I watched a quick review from I forget his name. I was just kind of like looking at quickly through some reviews on YouTube. But somebody said they were from Alabama, and for them, like, a lot of this game was they were like, I love this. This reminds me so much of my grandpa and some of the stories he told me, or some of the life lessons he he bestowed to me, and he's the reason I'm the person I am is because of my grandpa. So for them, it was like a very important game.
Yeah.
And Hazel as a character, I love her. Like, she's a great protagonist.
Yes. She's a great character.
Yeah. She, like, her archetype is because she was she just moves forward for better or for worse. She just, like, always forward. And her becoming a weaver is basically being like, hey, like, stop fighting or stop ripping holes to go through and look at the bigger picture. Look at the tapestry you're damaging or that you're fighting against. Wouldn't you like to maybe stop and just help us weave it or be a part of it or mend it? And there's a lot of, like, these analogies that basically it kind of stifles a bit her impetuousness, where she just has to, like, be, oh snap, like, if I stop and I look at the big picture, I see the entire story and how it's going to affect, like, 20 other people in this town. So, you know, when they talk about flawed character, I'm like, all right, so you can see that she's young and coming into her own. And unfortunately, as any young person that grows up then realizes, like, her life circumstances that she was happy, but then she realizes were greatly unfair. Could have been better if some people around her had not ignored her for personal and or petty reasons. You kind of realize that, like, oh wow, okay, we had to make do. We were happy, but we had to make do just because of like the greed or certain people or the pettiness or a grudge that somebody held, and it's just. I'm really enjoying her and how she's taking it all in strides, because right now she's so focused on saving her mom, which is basically the entire premise of the entire game.
Yeah, save your mom.
Is at every time you stop, you help somebody, you're like, okay, I got to do this. And for her, it's just an obstacle. And every time, at the end of every chapter, she's just like, all right, back on the subject of saving my mom. Is basically that's... And I think this is like very much a coming of age story for her. And it's very rare that in video game that you'll see a coming of age story that is so realistic in its violence. Because it's either coming of age, like growing yourself into the hero, or just like, I don't know, like The Last of Us, which is like just really, really horrific, graphic, but like only violence, the only type of stuff you could see in a video game, because it's got zombies, right? It's apocalypse, it's fictional. This violence, I'm like, this is real life violence.
Oh yeah.
I don't mean just like violence, like physical violence. I just mean like the violence of the emotions, of the realizations, the trauma of the stories. Like, this is just like the real fucking world.
I'm really curious to see how you guys react to the end then, be it a positive ending or a negative ending or a neutral ending or a cliffhanger. I'm curious to see
I'm
how you guys feel when you're done.
I'm not sure how this game is going to end, because I've been... Games are hard to end, and they that's the thing where I don't think games very rarely nail the ending. So
a lot of stories are not good endings in books and stuff too, where like you're done the book and you're just like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not easy to wrap something up.
Yeah. But I was just gonna say, like, regardless of the ending, I want more of this world. Like, I want more of this music. I want more of this of Hazel. I want more stories of people that she grew up with and around her. Like, they introduced some characters in the very beginning of the game, like in her town. Like, I immediately, like, I was halfway through their game and I'm like, I want a second game. Like, a part of me doesn't even care how this game ends. Like, I want this to continue, because I'm so engrossed in what is happening and the layers that they were able to create, and how they produce the dialogue and the storytelling is so rich, where you meet characters in these spaces that you progress to. And I feel like they're so real, and from a few minutes of dialogue, like, I immediately know who they are. And that is a really hard skill to master in storytelling, especially in a video game where, you know, you maybe get a few seconds and then, like, you're off to do the action of what you need to do. And just like a masterclass, I think, in character, short creation, and storytelling. 100%. So I think, like, it is truly outstanding how the talent and art that went into this game. And, like, for me, I haven't finished it yet, and I know we're only in April, but, like, I could see this being, like, in my top 5 of the year. Like, cool. It's so... The music is phenomenal too, and the voice acting is so good. Like, it is, this is quite, and I know it didn't get as great of a review, but it's really wonderful.
I think it can easily be fixed for their next game.
Yes,
because it's really easy to point out what's not great, and it's unfortunately what is going to be the deal breaker for a lot of people, because it's the gameplay mechanics. It's the gameplay loop that's pretty lackluster and quite repetitive.
Yeah.
But we're the type of gamer that is like, if the story's good enough, I'll just power through it. Like, I'll literally slam my way through. I play most games on easy anyway. I'm playing this game on normal, and I'm just like, all right, this is actually pretty easy. So I am not like, for me, that is not my priority. If you're looking at like the gameplay trailer and you're like, oh yeah, I need this to be like Spider-Man worthy, go play Spider-Man. This is not it. This is about Hazel's story, that town. It's about having a game about something that's never talked about and them doing it beautifully. So they can
really
build
well
on the gameplay systems.
Oh yeah,
they got like a great game. And honestly,
amazing
like for the size of the team, the size of the game, and the price point, knowing that it's like, because it's an Xbox studio, most people will play through Xbox. It's fine. I think the $40 price point, considering Nintendo's going to ask like us to pay like upwards of $120 for a Mario Party game.
Yeah,
$40 for this game. Absolutely, abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh yeah, it's also on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So if you don't necessarily want to own the game, you can go on Game Pass and play it there.
Yeah.
So.
And I think like if you live like, I don't know, in North America, or if you're somebody that interfaces a lot with American culture, I think you need to play this game. I realize it's made by a Canadian studio, but
Well, they did a really good job. Yeah, because I
honestly
agree. I was gonna say, like, yeah, I think especially in the moments that we're experiencing right now, like, I think it's a really good thing for people to go and to walk with someone that's, you know, that's probably, that may be familiar to you and that can empathize with your story, or someone that's totally different than you, and to experience what, you know, world is like in their shoes. And it is, it's really, really special. So I think I would definitely give it a try. And I've read some reviews too where people, because the beginning, I feel like the cadence of the beginning is a little goofy. I would say that just stick with it, because so many people will say that they almost stopped playing it, and they are incredibly grateful that they finished the game. So I would kind of, you know, get through the first 2 to 3 hours, and then just allow yourself to be immersed in the story, because the gameplay really won't change that much. So you can really explore and revel in the world that you're in, and just enjoy it.
I think the first 2 hours are rough because it's mostly a tutorial and the gameplay mechanics are so lackluster that you're like, this is going to be the game. But as soon as you're...
Well, they kind of throw everything at you too. They're like, here's one ability, here's another ability, and I'm like, oh wow, all right, I have all these abilities now.
The progression is kind of skewed.
Abilities? And then you realize it's because, like, when you get to the end of that first 2 hours and they taught you like fucking 8 things, you're like, oh, I only have those 8 fucking things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They could have stretched that out a bit.
Yeah. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But as soon as they're like, all right, you know, like, it's dangerous to go alone, have this, and you're like, okay, after 2 hours, you're like, cool, okay, this is like some basic ass abilities, and they're just like, all right, you got to chase this giant gator.
Yeah.
And who ate the church, like when they did the gameplay reveal trailer where they show you like the entire sequence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the second big story arc.
Yes.
So you start the game,
and
then you start the game, they set the premise, you do the tutorials. Those are the first 2 chapters, and then you got a chapter in the middle, and then you have that Tutotom chapter. It comes pretty early in the game, because you need to go meet the catfish, and the catfish brings you the...
Okay.
And as soon as you get to the point where it's just like, at the end of chapter 2, the narrator's like, oh, this gets interesting because she's going to come and meet me. It's the catfish. He's the narrator. And honestly, from there, it just goes like, the game opens up and they're just like, it shows you that first dramatic story and they're like, you're still with us? Cool. Strap in. We got more. And you're just like, holy shit, video game.
It sure does.
All right.
Sure does. Yep.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing it. Well, I think this wraps up the show for this week. As always, check out the show notes on girlsongames.ca for links to all the stories mentioned in the episode. If you have the power to rate and review the podcast where you are consuming it, that'd be much appreciated. Why? It helps with discovery, moves us up in the rankings, and any comments help us build our show. This is also the moment where I ask the crew to shout out their social media handle so you can follow them anywhere and everywhere online. And I think, Kat, were you guys sharing screenshots in the Discord channel from South of Midnight?
I shared a few. I grabbed a few. I will definitely be posting some on the Girls on Games Instagram this weekend.
Cool. So, Kat, where can people find you online outside of our owned and operated GOG accounts?
Yes, I am CSDBA on all social media platforms. I'm currently mostly active on Blue Sky and Instagram, but you can mostly find me in the Girls on Games Discord. I'm always in there shit posting.
How about you, Joelle? Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, on Blue Sky at Joelle Lauren, but I usually just creep on Blue Sky. And then always hanging out in the Girls on Games Discord. Come and say hi.
And I am Leah Jewer on most social media platforms, but of course you want to know everything there is to know about Girls on Games. You can track us down at The Girls on Games. The Girls on Games? What? You know it's been a long podcast. The Girls on Games on Twitter/X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games, no the in there on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok. Discord.me/Girls on Games to continue this conversation and more. But if you ever need to know anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Joelle. Thank you, Catherine. It's been another lovely week in video games. I'm off to play more 2 Point Museum and start the download of South of Midnight. Bye!
Bye!